First contact and rising tensions. The vast emptiness of space had always called to humanity. For centuries, we gazed at the stars, wondering if we were alone. In the year 2157, we got our answer. It was a typical day at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico when Dr. Elena Rodriguez noticed an unusual signal. At first, she thought it was a glitch, but as she analyzed the data, her heart began to race. This was no random cosmic noise. It was a pattern, complex, deliberate, and undeniably artificial. "Holy shit," she whispered, her eyes wide as she stared at her computer screen. "We're not alone." Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Governments scrambled to respond. Scientists worked around the clock to decode the message, and the public alternated between excitement and fear. Humanity stood united in a way it never had before. All eyes turned to the stars. The signal, as it turned out, came from a species that called themselves the Zarkol. They were an advanced civilization from a star system about 40 light-years away. Their message was one of peace and curiosity. They too had been searching for other life in the universe. For the next few months, Earth was abuzz with activity. The greatest minds on the planet worked tirelessly to establish a common language and means of communication with the Zarkol. It was slow going, but progress was steady. Captain James Harper of the newly formed United Earth Space Force found himself at the forefront of these efforts. A former Navy SEAL with a degree in xenobiology, he was the perfect bridge between military caution and scientific curiosity. "We need to be prepared for anything," Harper often said during briefings. "But we also need to approach this with an open mind. This could be the greatest opportunity in human history." Finally, after months of preparation, the day arrived for the first face-to-face meeting. A Zarkol ship entered Earth's orbit, and a small delegation was set to land in a specially prepared area outside of Geneva, Switzerland. As the sleek, silver craft descended from the clouds, millions watched on screens around the world. Captain Harper stood at attention, part of the welcoming committee, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The ship's door opened with a soft hiss, and out stepped the Zarkol. They were tall, slender beings with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Their large, almond-shaped eyes blinked curiously as they took in their surroundings. The leader of the Zarkol delegation, introduced as Ambassador Zinra, approached the human welcoming committee. Its voice, translated through a device, was melodious and calming. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace and friendship, eager to learn and share knowledge." The first few weeks of cultural exchange were nothing short of miraculous. The Zarkol shared insights into technology that human scientists had only dreamed of. Advanced propulsion systems, energy sources that could solve Earth's power problems, and medical techniques that could cure diseases thought incurable. In return, humanity shared its art, music, and literature. The Zarkol seemed particularly fascinated by human emotions and creativity, concepts that were somewhat foreign to their logical, orderly society. However, as the initial excitement began to wane, cracks started to appear in the relationship. Cultural misunderstandings led to tensions. The Zarkol's rigid social structure and their belief in their own superiority began to grate on many humans. Similarly, human unpredictability and what the Zarkol saw as illogical behavior caused frustration among the aliens. Captain Harper noticed the growing unease. During a high-level meeting with both human and Zarkol representatives, he voiced his concerns. "We need to address these issues head-on," he argued. "If we let these misunderstandings fester, they could lead to serious problems down the line." But his warnings went largely unheeded. Both sides were too focused on the potential benefits of their alliance to pay attention to the growing discord. The situation came to a head when a group of human protesters broke into a Zarkol research facility, accusing the aliens of conducting unethical experiments. The Zarkol security response was swift and brutal, resulting in several human casualties. The incident sparked outrage across Earth. Demands for the Zarkol to leave became louder and more frequent. The aliens, for their part, were bewildered by what they saw as an illogical and emotional response to a simple security matter. As tensions escalated, Captain Harper found himself working tirelessly to maintain peace. He shuttled between Earth's leaders and the Zarkol ambassador, trying to bridge the growing divide. "We've come too far to let it all fall apart now," he pleaded during one particularly heated meeting. "There has to be a way to work through this." But even as he spoke, Harper could see the resolve hardening in the eyes of both humans and Zarkol. The dream of peaceful coexistence was slipping away, replaced by mutual suspicion and fear. The final straw came when a Zarkol ship, claiming to be lost, was caught scanning Earth's military installations. Earth's governments saw it as a clear act of espionage. The Zarkol insisted it was a simple navigational error, but few believed them. In a tense global broadcast, the President of the United Earth Government delivered an ultimatum. The Zarkol had 48 hours to leave Earth's solar system or face military action. The Zarkol's response was cold and dismissive. "You primitives are in no position to make demands," Ambassador Zinra stated. "We came in peace, but if you insist on conflict, you will learn the true extent of our power." As the ultimatum ticked down, humanity prepared for war. Captain Harper, now promoted to admiral, found himself in command of Earth's hastily assembled defense fleet. Looking out at the stars from the bridge of his flagship, Harper couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness and disappointment. "We had such high hopes," he murmured to himself. "How did it come to this?" But there was no time for regrets. As the deadline passed with no sign of the Zarkol leaving, Harper gave the order that would change the course of human history forever. "All ships, battle stations. This is not a drill. May God have mercy on us all." And with those words, humanity entered its first interstellar war. The alien offensive. The first strike came without warning. In the early hours of a crisp autumn morning, Zarkol warships appeared in Earth's orbit, their sleek hulls gleaming in the pale sunlight. Before Earth's defense systems could even register the threat, beams of searing energy lanced down from the sky, targeting military installations and communication centers across the globe. Admiral James Harper was jolted awake by the blaring of alarms. He sprinted to the command center of the lunar base, his mind racing. As he burst through the doors, the scene before him was one of controlled chaos. "Status report," he barked, his eyes scanning the holographic displays. Colonel Sarah Chen, his second in command, turned to him with a grim expression. "Sir, we're under attack. The Zarkol hit us hard and fast. We've lost contact with most of our ground-based defenses." Harper's jaw clenched as he absorbed the information. "What about our orbital platforms?" "Holding for now, sir, but they're taking a beating. We've managed to get a few shots off, but their shields are like nothing we've ever seen." For the next several hours, Harper and his team fought desperately to coordinate Earth's defenses, but it quickly became clear that humanity was outmatched. The Zarkol's technology was centuries ahead of their own, their weapons capable of punching through Earth's best defenses like they were made of paper. As reports of devastation poured in from around the globe, Harper felt a cold knot of fear in his stomach. This wasn't a war, it was a slaughter. But even in the darkest hour, the human spirit refused to be broken. In cities around the world, people banded together, helping the injured and organizing impromptu resistance groups. Scientists worked around the clock, analyzing Zarkol technology and searching for weaknesses. In a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the astrophysicist who had first detected the Zarkol signal, now found herself leading a team of Earth's brightest minds in a race against time. "We need to think outside the box," she told her team, her eyes blazing with determination. "They may have better tech, but we have something they don't: human ingenuity. We've faced impossible odds before and survived. We'll do it again." Meanwhile, in orbit, the remnants of Earth's space fleet fought a desperate holding action. Captain Akira Tanaka of the UEA's Defiant watched as another of his ships exploded in a brilliant fireball. Evasive maneuvers, he shouted, his hands gripping the arms of his command chair. Concentrate fire on their lead ship's port side. We just need to hold out a little longer. For days, the battle raged on. Earth's cities lay in ruins, its defenses shattered. But still, humanity refused to surrender. In underground bases and hidden laboratories, a plan was taking shape, a plan born of desperation and audacity. Admiral Harper stood before the remains of the United Earth government, his uniform scorched and torn, his face haggard from lack of sleep. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice hoarse but determined, "I won't sugarcoat it. We're losing this war, but we're not beaten yet." He activated a holographic display, showing schematics for a massive ship unlike anything they had built before. "This is Project Phoenix. It's a supercarrier, incorporating everything we've learned about Zarkol technology. It's faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything we've ever conceived." The room erupted in murmurs of disbelief and hope. One of the council members spoke up. "But Admiral, how can we possibly build something like this? Our shipyards are destroyed, our resources depleted." Harper's eyes glinted with fierce determination. "We build it in secret, underground. We use every scrap of material we can salvage, every bit of knowledge we've gleaned, and we do it faster than anyone thinks possible." Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. "We've also been working on a way to disrupt their shields. It's theoretical, but if it works, it could give us the edge we need." For the next month, as the Zarkol continued their relentless assault on Earth's surface, humanity worked in secret. Hidden factories sprang up in abandoned mines and underwater caverns. Every available scientist and engineer was put to work, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and capability. The project was not without its setbacks. Twice, Zarkol patrols nearly discovered their main construction site. Resources were scarce, and there were days when it seemed like the whole endeavor might fall apart. But through it all, the human spirit endured. Stories of heroism and sacrifice spread through the resistance networks, bolstering morale. In one particularly daring raid, a team of pilots managed to hijack a damaged Zarkol shuttle, providing invaluable insight into their technology. Finally, after weeks of round-the-clock work, the first supercarrier was ready. Named the HFY Phoenix, it was a marvel of human engineering and alien technology. Sleek and powerful, it represented humanity's last, best hope. As the Phoenix rose from its hidden berth, cloaked from Zarkol sensors, Admiral Harper addressed the crew from the bridge. "Men and women of Earth, I won't lie to you. What we're about to do is dangerous. We're outnumbered and outgunned. But on this ship, we carry the hopes and dreams of our entire species. We fight not just for our own survival, but for the right of humanity to forge its own destiny among the stars." He paused, looking at each crew member in turn. "No matter what happens next, know this. You are the best humanity has to offer. And together, we will show the Zarkol and the universe what it truly means to be human." With that, the HFY Phoenix engaged its engines, streaking towards the Zarkol fleet in orbit. As they approached, Harper gave the order that would change the course of the war. "All hands, battle stations. Prepare to engage the enemy. For Earth." The supercarrier dropped its cloak, its advanced weapons systems powering up. The Zarkol ships, caught by surprise, scrambled to respond. But for the first time since the war began, it was the aliens who found themselves outmatched. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and humanity was ready to fight. Unveiling the supercarriers, the HFY Phoenix streaked through space, its sleek form a blur against the star-studded backdrop. On the bridge, Admiral Harper watched as the massive Zarkol fleet grew larger on the view screen. His heart raced, but his voice was steady as he gave the command. "Activate the shield disruptors. All weapons, prepare to fire on my mark." Dr. Rodriguez, who had insisted on being present for this crucial moment, worked feverishly at her console. "Shield disruptors at full power, Admiral. It's now or never." The Zarkol fleet, initially caught off guard by the sudden appearance of the unknown ship, quickly moved to engage, their energy weapons charged, preparing to unleash the same devastating firepower that had laid waste to Earth's defenses. But this time, something was different. As the alien beams lanced out towards the Phoenix, they seemed to waver and disperse, their energy dissipating harmlessly against the Supercarriers' advanced shields. It worked, Dr. Rodriguez exclaimed, her eyes wide with a mixture of relief and excitement. Their weapons are ineffective. Harper allowed himself a small smile. Excellent work, Doctor. Now it's our turn. All batteries, fire at will. The Phoenix's weapons blazed to life, unleashing a barrage of energy that the Zarkol had never encountered before. Beams of concentrated particles, gravity distortion torpedoes, and swarms of self-guided nanomicelles streaked towards the alien ships. The result was devastating. Zarkol shields flickered and failed under the onslaught. Hull plating, once thought impenetrable, crumpled and tore. Ship after ship erupted in silent explosions, scattering debris across the void. On the Zarkol command ship, Supreme Commander Zenthal watched in disbelief as his fleet was decimated. Impossible, he muttered, his normally composed demeanor cracking. How could these primitives have developed such technology? But the Phoenix was just the beginning. As the battle raged in orbit, more supercarriers emerged from hidden bases around the solar system. The UEA's Thunderchild, Excalibur, and Nemesis joined the fray, each equipped with the same advanced technology as the Phoenix. The tide of battle shifted dramatically. For the first time since the war began, the Zarkol found themselves on the defensive. Their tactics, so effective against Earth's earlier defenses, proved useless against the supercarriers' adaptive shields and unpredictable attack patterns. Admiral Harper coordinated the assault from the Phoenix, his tactical genius finally given the tools it needed to shine. Thunderchild, flank their left. Excalibur, target their command ship. Nemesis, mop up any stragglers trying to escape. The human fleet moved with a synchronicity that belied their short time together, executing complex maneuvers that kept the Zarkol off balance and reeling. As the battle progressed, Harper noticed something curious. They're not adapting, he mused aloud. Their tactics haven't changed since we engaged. Dr. Rodriguez, who had been analyzing the Zarkol communications they'd managed to intercept, offered an explanation. It seems their entire military structure is highly centralized. They rely on their command ship for tactical decisions. Without clear orders, the rest of the fleet doesn't know how to respond to our attack. Harper's eyes glinted with newfound understanding. Then that's our key. All ships, concentrate fire on the Zarkol command vessel. Let's cut off the head of the snake. The 4 supercarriers turned their combined firepower on the massive Zarkol flagship. Despite its size and heavy defenses, it couldn't withstand the concentrated assault. In a spectacular explosion that lit up Earth's orbit, the command ship was destroyed. The effect on the remaining Zarkol forces was immediate and dramatic. Without central coordination, their formation fell apart. Some ships continued to fight, but many others began to retreat, jumping to faster-than-light travel as soon as they cleared the gravity well. As the last of the Zarkol ships disappeared from sensors, a stunned silence fell over the bridge of the Phoenix. Then, slowly, realization dawned. Cheers erupted, spreading from ship to ship as the news traveled. They had won. Against all odds, humanity had prevailed. Admiral Harper allowed his crew a moment of celebration before calling for order. "This is a great victory," he announced, his voice carrying to all 4 supercarriers. "But the war isn't over yet. The Zarkol will be back, and next time, they'll be prepared for our technology." He turned to Dr. Rodriguez. "We need to push our advantage. Can we track where those ships jumped to?" The scientist nodded, already working at her console. "Yes, Admiral. We've learned enough about their FTL technology to follow their wake. We can be ready to pursue within the hour." Harper nodded grimly. "Good, because now we take the fight to them. We'll show the Zarkol that humanity is not to be trifled with." As the supercarrier fleet prepared for their first faster-than-light jump, Harper couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger than ever. They had taken alien technology and, in true human fashion, improved upon it in ways its original creators never imagined. The stars beckoned, and for the first time, humanity was ready to answer on equal footing. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and with it, a new chapter in human history. All ships prepare for FTL jump, Harper commanded. Let's remind the galaxy why you should never underestimate the human spirit. With a flash of light, the supercarriers vanished, carrying with them the hopes and determination of all humanity. The war was far from over, but one thing was certain. The Zarkol were about to learn the true meaning of humanity. Yeah. The final push. The vast expanse of space warped and shimmered as the human supercarrier fleet dropped out of FTL. Admiral Harper stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, his eyes fixed on the alien world that filled the view screen. Zarkol Prime, the heart of the enemy empire. Status report, Harper ordered, his voice calm despite the tension that filled the air. Captain Yuki Tanaka of the UES Thunderchild responded first. Sir, we've arrived at the coordinates as planned. No sign that we've been detected yet. Good, Harper nodded. Dr. Rodriguez, what can you tell us about their defenses? The scientist studied her readings intently. They're formidable, Admiral. Multiple orbital platforms, a sizable fleet in high orbit, and what appears to be a planetary shield. But, she paused, a small smile playing on her lips. I think I've found a weakness. As Dr. Rodriguez explained her findings, Harper felt a surge of pride. This was humanity at its best, adaptive, innovative, and unbreakable. In the few short weeks since their victory at Earth, they had pushed deeper into Zarkol space, liberating conquered worlds and gathering crucial intelligence. Each engagement taught them more about their enemy, and with each lesson, they grew stronger. All right, people, Harper addressed his fleet. This is it, the heart of Zarkol power. We take this world, we end this war. You all know the plan. Let's make Earth proud. The human fleet sprang into action with practiced precision. The Excalibur and Nemesis peeled off, engaging the orbital defenses with a ferocious barrage of fire. Their advanced weapons, continuously improved since the Battle of Earth, tore through the Zarkol shields like they were tissue paper. Meanwhile, the Phoenix and Thunderchild pushed towards the planet, drawing the attention of the Zarkol fleet. As the enemy ships approached, Harper couldn't help but notice their movements seemed sluggish, uncoordinated. They still haven't adapted to decentralized command, he realized aloud. Press the advantage. Don't let them regroup. The battle in space was fierce but one-sided. Human ships danced between enemy fire, their adaptive shields shrugging off hits that would have vaporized them mere months ago. In contrast, the Zarkol ships fell one by one, their rigid tactics no match for the fluid, unpredictable style of human combat. As the last Zarkol capital ship erupted in a silent explosion, Harper turned his attention to the planet below. Dr. Rodriguez, are you ready? The scientist nodded, her fingers flying over her console. Ready, Admiral. Initiating planetary shield disruption. Now. A beam of concentrated energy shot from the Phoenix, striking the ionosphere of Zarkol Prime. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a soap bubble popping, the shimmering field protecting the planet vanished. Shield is down, Rodriguez exclaimed. We have a clear shot at their surface installations. Harper didn't hesitate. All ships, commence planetary bombardment. Target military installations only. We're here to end a war, not commit genocide. As the supercarriers rained destruction on key Zarkol military targets, Harper opened a channel to the planet's surface. Attention Zarkol High Command. This is Admiral James Harper of the United Earth Fleet. Your orbital defenses have been neutralized, your fleet destroyed, and your planetary shield disabled. Surrender now, and we can end this conflict without further bloodshed." For several tense moments, there was no response. Then, a familiar face appeared on the view screen. Supreme Commander Zinfel, his usual composure shattered. "How?" the alien leader demanded, his voice a mixture of anger and disbelief. "How have you done this? You were primitives, barely able to leave your own planet." Harper's response was calm but firm. "You underestimated us, Commander. Humanity doesn't break under pressure. We adapt, we innovate, we overcome. Now, I'll ask again, do you surrender?" Zinfel's eyes narrowed. "Never. We are the Zarkol. We do not submit to lesser beings." As if on cue, alarms blared across the bridge. "Admiral," Tanaka's voice came over the comm. "We're detecting massive energy buildup on the planet's surface. They're activating some kind of superweapon." Harper's mind raced. This had to be the Zarkol's final gambit, a weapon of last resort. "Can we stop it?" Dr. Rodriguez was already analyzing the data. "Not from here, sir. But if we could get a team on the ground, we might be able to sabotage it." Harper nodded grimly. This was it, the final push. "Prepare a drop team. I'll lead them myself." Despite protests from his officers, Harper suited up. As he prepared to board the dropship, he addressed his fleet one last time. "Whatever happens down there, you hold this orbit. Humanity has come too far to fail now. It's been an honor serving with all of you." The descent to Zarkol Prime was a blur of fire and chaos. Anti-aircraft fire lit up the sky, but the human dropships, incorporating the best of Zarkol and human tech, were too fast, too nimble to hit. As they touched down near the massive structure housing the superweapon, Harper turned to his team. "We have one shot at this. Let's remind these aliens why you don't pick a fight with humanity." What followed was a desperate race against time. Harper and his team fought their way through waves of Zarkol defenders, their advanced armor and weapons giving them an edge in close-quarters combat. Dr. Rodriguez, patched in from the Phoenix, guided them through the alien facility. Finally, they reached the heart of the weapon. As Rodriguez worked to disable it remotely, Harper found himself face to face with Supreme Commander Zinfel. "It's over, Commander," Harper said, his weapon trained on the alien leader. "Stand down." Zinfel's eyes blazed with fury. "You think you've won. You've only proven that your species is too dangerous to be allowed to exist." As the alien reached for a control panel, Harper made a split-second decision. His shot rang out, catching Zinfel in the shoulder. The Zarkol leader collapsed, his hand inches from the button that would have activated the weapon. At that moment, Rodriguez's voice came over the comm. "Admiral, I've done it. The weapon is disarmed." As if a switch had been flipped, the sounds of battle began to die away. Without their leader, without their superweapon, the fight had gone out of the Zarkol. Harper helped Zinfel to his feet. "Now, Commander, about that surrender." Hours later, standing on the bridge of the Phoenix, Harper watched as Zarkol representatives signed the formal surrender documents. It was over. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged victorious. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Harper felt the weight of the future settling on his shoulders. They had won the war, but the real challenge was just beginning. How would humanity handle its newfound power? How would they forge a lasting peace with the Zarkol? One thing was certain. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay. "Admiral," Captain Tanaka's voice interrupted his thoughts. "We're receiving transmissions from Earth. They're calling us heroes." Harper allowed himself a small smile. "Heroes? Maybe. But what we are, Captain, is human. And we've just shown the galaxy what that really means." As the fleet prepared for the long journey home, Harper couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. They had survived, they had triumphed, and now they would thrive. The stars had never seemed so bright, nor the future so full of promise. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger than ever. Whatever came next, they would face it together, with the same spirit that had carried them to victory against impossible odds. The war was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. Aftermath and New Horizons, the return to Earth was a triumphant one. As the Supercarrier fleet dropped out of FTL on the edge of the solar system, they were greeted by a swarm of ships, everything from hastily repaired military vessels to civilian craft. Cheers and celebrations erupted across all communication channels. Admiral Harper stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, a lump forming in his throat as he saw his home planet come into view. Earth, once battered and on the brink of destruction, now stood as a symbol of human resilience and determination. As the fleet entered orbit, Harper addressed his crew, and by extension, all of humanity. We left Earth as defenders, fighting for our very survival. We return as victors, having secured not just our future, but our place among the stars. But let us not forget the cost of this victory, nor the responsibility that comes with it. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of debriefings, ceremonies, and negotiations. The war had changed everything, and the world's leaders struggled to adapt to humanity's new reality as a major galactic power. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the forefront of a new initiative to integrate Zarkol technology with human innovation. We can't afford to rest on our laurels, she insisted during the UN conference. The galaxy is vast, and there's so much we still don't know. We need to keep pushing forward, keep innovating. Her words struck a chord, and soon, a new era of scientific and technological advancement began. The Supercarriers, once instruments of war, were repurposed for deep space exploration. New shipyards were constructed in orbit and beyond, as humanity began to expand its presence throughout the solar system and beyond. Meanwhile, Admiral Harper found himself thrust into the unfamiliar world of diplomacy. As the hero of the war and the face of humanity's military might, he was tasked with negotiating the terms of peace with the Zarkol. The negotiations were tense and fraught with challenges. The Zarkol, once so certain of their superiority, struggled to come to terms with their defeat. But slowly, painfully, progress was made. We cannot undo the past, Harper said during one particularly heated session, but we can shape the future. Humanity doesn't seek domination or revenge. We want peace, cooperation, and mutual prosperity. Gradually, a new galactic order began to take shape. The Zarkol Empire was dissolved, replaced by a confederation of independent worlds. Earth took its place as a major power, but was careful not to repeat the mistakes of the Zarkol. Instead of imposing their will on others, humanity positioned itself as a mediator and peacekeeper. 5 years after the end of the war, Harper stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, a massive space habitat orbiting Jupiter. Besides him stood Zinfel, the former supreme commander of the Zarkol, now serving as an ambassador for his people. I never thought I'd see this day, Zinfel mused, watching as ships from a dozen different species docked at the station. Our peoples working together, exploring the stars side by side. Harper nodded, a small smile on his face. It wasn't an easy road, but we got here. Together. As they talked, a fleet of ships caught Harper's eye. The new deep space explorers, led by the UES Horizon, were preparing to embark on their maiden voyage beyond known space. Dr. Rodriguez, now director of the Galactic Science Initiative, approached them. Admiral, Ambassador, she greeted them warmly. Are you ready to make history again? Harper raised an eyebrow. Oh, what did you have in mind, Elena? She grinned, her eyes sparkling with excitement. We've detected an anomaly, about 1,000 light-years from here. It doesn't match anything in our combined databases. We think it might be a sign of a new form of life, maybe even a new civilization. Zinfel's eyes widened. Truly, after all this time, there could be others out there. Harper felt a familiar surge of anticipation, the same feeling he had when he first took command of the Phoenix, when humanity first struck back against overwhelming odds. The thrill of facing the unknown, of pushing beyond boundaries. "Well then," he said, straightening his uniform, "I suppose we'd better go introduce ourselves. Wouldn't want to keep our new neighbors waiting." As they made their way to the horizon, Harper couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. From a species on the brink of extinction to leaders of a galactic community, they had faced their greatest challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The war had taught humanity valuable lessons about their own strength, the importance of unity, and the dangers of arrogance and complacency. Now, as they prepared to venture into the unknown once again, Harper felt confident that whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them with courage, innovation, and an unwavering spirit. As the Horizon's engines flared to life, carrying them towards new adventures and unknown horizons, Harper smiled. The stars had once seemed distant and unreachable. Now, they were humanity's playground, full of endless possibilities and untold wonders waiting to be discovered. The war was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. And this time, they were ready for whatever the universe might throw at them. After all, they were human, and as they had proven time and time again, that was the greatest strength of all.